Hey guys, and welcome to the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy show. We are both back in the studio after, a bunch of stuff, and we will be talking about all sorts of nonsense and chicanery and other things I can't really think of. And we'll probably bring pumpkin spice everything, and maybe even a couple of clowns. I have no idea. That's why we gave it the title. So you know what? Sit back, relax, listen to some tunes. We'll be back in a moment.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy show. I am Captain Fizz.
And greetings once again from the seventh moon of thunder. I am that Mask Guy.
And usually during this segment of him doing social media, I will do some ranting and raving, but I don't have very much ranting and raving today.
Ranting will riot the true Newfoundlanders.
What I do have is the fact that up here in Canada, it is now fall. Which basically means
it feels like fall too.
It feels like fall, which basically means the leaves are falling, so the trees are now naked. The horror. God, the horror.
The horror.
And the most important thing, pumpkin spice is back.
Say it ain't so.
Which, unfortunately, well, for most people, is my favorite time of year because I absolutely love pumpkin spice. And the other day, I actually, while down at Superstore, I actually found the strangest pumpkin spice anything. In the liquor store, they were actually advertising pumpkin spice whiskey. It's exactly how it sounds. You know, it's a whiskey that's pumpkin spice. It's delicious. But it didn't really get its great taste until sitting in Starbucks ordering my pumpkin spice latte, because nothing says drinking whiskey like drinking the most overpriced waste of crap that you could possibly think of. So I figured, if I'm going to drink the most expensive thing out there, I'm going to Starbucks. It's like Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. They want the most expensive bad thing for them. So it's...
Okay, first off, have you ever been to a White Castle?
No, we don't have any.
Okay, this is true. I'm just trying to think here because I believe maybe... what was I going to say here? No, I've been to White Castle, and I think those burgers are kind of cheap. I don't know. You could always ask Weeman, because I'm sure one of them say, though, the White Castle...
I'm going to go with expensive because this was part of a movie, so anything's expensive in a movie. Or free. Generally, it's free.
But the fact that they're going off and they're eating, like, thousands of these tiny little burgers...
Good point. But anyways, so I decided to go to, Starbucks. Now, any normal person would wait till they left the restaurant to put the whiskey inside the latte. I'm not normal by any standard.
Nope, not at all. Nope.
So I am sitting there surrounded by people, sitting at other tables, sitting by the people who took my order, who, by the way, no matter how much I spell my name or pronunciate every letter, they cannot spell it right for the life of them. So I don't know if they're just stupid or just intentionally dumb. But anyways, I'm sitting there at the table.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say they were being intentionally dumb.
I think so, too. They were off by a letter.
Okay, first off, so what, they spelled it with a U instead of a W?
Absolutely. After I intentionally spelled W. How do you confuse a U with a W? But I digress.
Well, it's W.
Good point. Shut up.
No, I don't have to.
So anyways, I'm sitting there in the restaurant, chugging from this. It's not a big bottle. It's like, I don't know, it's 50 milliliters. Something like that. But it's Canadian whiskey, so I have to at least support something Canadian. But I'm doing a couple sips from my bottle, and then I'm pouring the entire rest of this bottle into my drink in the middle of the restaurant. And nobody's batting an eye because here in Winnipeg, when it's fall, you do what the birds do, and you find any way possible to stay warm. So for us, it's whiskey, pumpkin spice whiskey to be exact, and it was delicious.
You do anyways. I prefer mine, be honey flavored, but that's
yes, good point. So now my next thing is actually I want to go to Second Cup, which actually will be on Friday, and try they have this delicious pumpkin spice white hot chocolate, and I really want to see how well the pumpkin spice whiskey mixes with this. So that's my next experiment. Figure out what this whiskey actually mixes with. Other than itself, because it mixes pretty damn good with itself.
I have nothing to say to this. I'm done with the social media, by the way.
Awesome. I was able to talk about pumpkin spice whiskey because whiskey is awesome and pumpkin spice is better.
No,
and Amy,
no.
Screw your diet. If you can find pumpkin spice whiskey, try it. You will never regret it.
I'm sorry. I think the whole pumpkin spice, everything is a little, much. It's crazy. It's like this one time of year, it's like, oh, it's pumpkin spice, yeah. What the hell?
See, generally pumpkin spice is for the, what do you call them? White teenage girls. Now, the funny thing with that is no one can confuse me with a white teenage girl anymore because I'm bald. I literally look like Heisenberg from Breaking Bad.
It's true. I've seen pictures.
So, there's no mistaking me for that. There's no confusion. I will never be recognized as a female of any sort. Maybe when I'm in my, 50s or 60s, I might...
When I'm 64...
If I live to 64, God help the world. I will be the grumpiest old man with my pretend shotgun sitting on my front porch that I can't afford. Screw it. I'll be sitting on the neighbor's front porch.
Just remember, when you're 64, I'll be 74.
And we'll both be racing down the street in our motor wheelchairs because we're too lazy to walk down the steps.
Are you kidding? I'll be one of those guys where you'll have to go off and, rip oil down his side of the house to get me out. I've just been house rented, probably obese.
Sweet, I get to drive a tractor. What's that guy doing? Oh, he's just pulling somebody down the street with his tractor. Oh, that's normal. It's just a normal Monday night. They're usually always up to those antics. That's why the side of their house is a fold-away now. Specially designed house that folds away. As you can tell, we really don't give a damn. This is a special Tuesday night.
We're just... I don't even think we don't even care here in this episode. It's just...
Dude, no, I'm drinking beer. I got whiskey in front of me. I got my paprika lavender crap that I think is cocaine. At least I thought it was when I first picked it up.
Oh God, we should post a picture of that on our Facebook page.
Would you find random bags sitting in the middle of the street that seriously look like out of a drug movie?
Okay, it's literally what it is. It's the skull and crossbones. It's got a heart on the skull's forehead, and there's like love kills slowly.
It's an Ed Hardy bag that is like literally sealed to the nines, with this. I don't know. It's like I don't know what it is.
And I can't smell this, but apparently it smells like lavender.
It does, and I don't even know how it got that smell. Oh, I love how our listeners actually pretty much help us go into our next segment.
We have another segment.
We do. We have multiple segments of our segment.
We do. Okay, there we go. Fantastic.
Yeah, greetings, lazy nerd. Hope you're enjoying Ontario and not Winnipeg. So, yes, thank you for tuning in. And Amy, we do have Halloween in Canada.
It's just that we go off and our Halloween usually revolves around going off in costumes that are three sizes too big, so we can fit our kids and their snowsuits in underneath it.
Or you be crazy like myself, and you pretty much design a mask that goes that goes on, that has little tubes that go behind it, so you actually hold hidden capsules of whiskey behind the mask, that every time you actually start feeling the cold, you take a sip, and it warms you up instantly.
There's problems with that.
Yeah,
People who
I drink it too fast.
Yeah, and then you go off and you fall asleep, and the snow feels nice and warm.
Dude, snow never feels nice and warm, no matter how drunk you are. Trust me, I know from experience. I wake up with my butt frozen.
Obviously, you haven't gone that cold then.
No.
You haven't suffering from hypothermia, which I'm very grateful for.
And yes, as Lazy Nerd actually pointed out, here in Winnipeg at least, we don't really celebrate Halloween because it's too damn cold. We have Comic-Con, which is the nerds version of Halloween.
Says you. I go off and I usually have between 50 and 100 kids that show up at my house every year for Halloween.
Well, some of us don't like to whore ourselves out.
I remember the first year my wife and I owned the house. We went off and we got enough candy, and we thought, okay, we'll be good for 50 kids. And then after 45 minutes, we were like raiding our cupboard for granola bars, for anything that would resemble
You get a piece of candy. You get a piece of candy. You all don't get a piece of candy.
Yeah, pretty much. And we were giving the candy away we in our neighborhood, literally, there would be like teenage kids who were walking around with their 4 younger brothers and sisters. I mean, we have a bunch of kids, and are living in an area. People used to say that our area was the ghetto of Winnipeg. I don't,
And I do want to point out, there's actually a story I read about today that I was really kind of laughing at, just because when I listen to the news, I always look for the stupidest, most pathetic story that you could possibly find, and I found it today. I really didn't have to try hard. I absolutely. It was like
this world is pretty much going nuts as is. So I mean, it's pretty easy. But go on.
There's a town here in Nova Scotia, which is in Canada, in the Maritimes. For anyone who doesn't realize this, who I didn't realize this, but they actually had an age ban on trick or treating and a curfew. Now I can't fully remember what the curfew actually is now, but to put a curfew on trick-or-treating is really kind of funny in itself. But originally the age ban was 14 years old. Now, they took it, back, and they reviewed it, and they decided that 14 years old was wrong, that they should not be banning people who are 14 years old from trick-or-treating. So, a win for them. So they moved it to 16. So they went from 14 years of age, where you cannot trick-or-treat, to now anyone older than 16. It's now illegal to trick-or-treat in this town. And the whole reason is because the elderly in the community believe that the teenagers are up to no good, and if they're out past dark, then they're getting into mischief. Now...
Yes, because eating too much candy leads to absolute chaos. You allow those teenagers to go off and have candy, and next thing you know, they're going to go off and be smashing windows and going off and stealing cars.
Now, this doesn't specify only for people who are dressed up. Now, this could open up so many bad avenues. For example, as Amy just said, siblings who take their brother, their sister out for trick-or-treating. Family members who take their cousins. Parents who are taking their kids out for trick-or-treating. When do you draw the line of what is okay? I think it's asinine that somebody would put an age on having fun.
My only issue with it is that when most of the teenagers that come in my neighborhood to go trick or treating usually don't even bother, even dressing up. They might go off and put in like a Wolfman mask, but yeah, and that's it. And they're holding out their school backpacks.